Good morning, effective living community. Listen, guys, ambassadors everywhere. Good morning on this beautiful Thursday morning. My goal, guys, as you guys know, is to shake it up a little bit. And this entire week on Monday, on Tuesday, on Wednesday, questions were being asked. I had no clue which questions were going to be asked. Well, this morning, we're taking it yet in the same direction. I've invited Anastasia from the Bahamas, my cousin, y'all. First cousin, that is. I would go as far to say, no, we don't say favorite cousin before I get myself in trouble.
No,
Okay?
no, 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 no. But we already know that, though. We already know that.
Ain't
The
that the
rest of them
truth?
know.
I
They
know,
know.
right? Anastasia, how are you doing?
I am good. It is awesome to be here. I love this space. I've come to, fit in it pretty good. It's growing on me.
Right, right. And man, we've done some things together. I asked you to join me in answering, throwing out some questions. I've been wanting to do something I call Ask Coach Ricardo, and I don't know where the questions are going to come from, but I know that the people have questions, and I've invited you to throw some questions out to me. And so this morning, for those of you guys who are joining us, go put your questions in the comment section. Maybe I'll do a whole series on answering your questions. But Anastasia, at this time, I'm going to turn it over to you.
Okay, that's awesome. That means I really got the free time today. So, my first question is probably a common one that you've gotten, but I want to make sure that your viewing audience has an opportunity to hear the response because I know that it's been a pressing question in person. But what inspired you to create the Effective Living platform?
Wow. Interestingly, I haven't had that question asked to me yet. That's a good one, though. Yeah, not during these lives. What inspired me to start Effective Living? Well, as you know, I've been a 25-year veteran children's ministry leader. And in 2019, I wanted to reinvent myself, and I knew that I had taken children's ministry pretty far in regards to what I did within the season that I served in that space. But I knew there was something more, and there was something different. A good friend of mine, my brother Dominic Antonino, told me, "Bro, you need to talk about how you live, how your mission and your mandate for living." And I said, bro, I just want to live life effectively. And he said, man, that's what you should talk about. That's what you should write about. That's what you should be about. I said, what do you mean? He said, teach that, bro. You've gone through some things, but yet keep coming out on top. And in spite of all that's happening in your life and that's happening around you, you continue to soar. I think a lot of people will find that to be interesting. So my friend and brother Dominic Antonino was a pivotal part of the deciding factor as to where I was going to go with my next season, which created Effective Living, which is a life management agency. I want to have in time agencies throughout the United States and the Caribbean, and then virtual opportunities where people can actually tap in and get a strategy for living. Anastasia, you're an educator.
Mm,
They don't teach us how to live. They teach us how to get a job. And then they
yeah.
teach us a number of things in relation to living, but there's no class on life management. How do you manage it all? That's what our business is about.
Oh, okay. Wonderful, wonderful. So, my next question is, and shout out to Dominic. We met at the retreat. He's a great guy, love his wife, awesome person.
Yeah.
So, my next question is along the same lines, what keeps you passionate about this? Because, like you said, it's been a while. You did children's ministry for 25 years, and now we've been doing this for a few years. And it may seem like, the traction slips a little bit sometimes, or it may seem like there's a struggle or a pushback. But what keeps you passionate about it?
Well, the thing I like about life management coaching, when I was thinking about the next season of my life and what I was going to give myself to, I wanted to do something that can last for the long haul. And, somebody
Mm,
says players have seasons, coaches don't. You know,
Mhm.
players have seasons. In other words, after a while, no matter what sport you go and look at, and you realize after a while they say, well, you know, not all sports, but a lot of sports, basketball at a certain age, you check out. Football at a certain age, and so forth. But you look at it, and in regards like the Texas Rangers, they brought a guy out of retirement to be the manager, to coach the Texas Rangers, and they just won the World Series. I think coaches have a
Mhm.
long game. I think coaches have, and so for me, what keeps me inspired is helping people. What keeps me going is seeing people win. What also keeps me going is I like growing. I have a growth mindset. I don't have a fixed mindset. I believe I can get better. And with that said, I made a commitment to use the term getting better with age as my life's mantra. And so I think effective living at its best is learning how to show up every day and give your best to life. I call it wake up with determination to give your best and lay down with satisfaction, having given your best. And that's where it's
Wow.
at. And so that keeps me going. And I like who I'm becoming. And I like when the future shows me that I can still be, in spite of the fact that I've hit a certain age window. The truth is,
Mhm.
watch this, Anastasia, 48, that's not old, but watch this. I've discovered that there could be another 48 in front of me. That's real
Mhm.
talk. And I don't want to be the guy who checks out, at 60, or because, oh my goodness, that's old. No, the truth is people are living longer. And as long as
Mhm.
you're alive, you can commit to providing a value to humanity. And so for me, I'm playing the long game. I want to get better with age. And so that keeps me inspired.
Okay, that's great. With an inspiration like that, it keeps you fresh
Hmm.
because it is so continuous. I like the statement that you made about, players retiring, coaches keep it going.
Yeah.
I've never heard that before. And it is so true. Like
Mhm.
we have seen over and over again, we've experienced where you would see a coach 10 years later, 12 years later, they're still a coach or a teacher or whatever,
Mhm.
and they're still in that profession, but you've put it down. You're still having the effect and feeling the effect of what they did for you 10
Mhm.
years ago, 12 years ago, and that's wonderful. So, as Coach Ricardo, you have focused on the areas and encourage us to focus on the areas of family, fun, faith, finances, and fitness.
Yeah.
And so, within those five areas, I would like to know, the audience would like to know, which three has given you the most pushback? Which three have been a struggle for you in tier order? Which three have been the most struggle for you, and how have you been getting through it?
Wow. Boy, that's a great question. Okay. Which of the three, faith, family, finance, fitness, and fun? Ladies and gentlemen, when I look at those five, I had to lean in on which one was the most challenging. I've always had fun. I wish I had studied and paid attention when I went to school like I should have, but the truth is I didn't regret any bit of my school days. I did not regret any of my teenage years. I didn't regret any of my early 20s and so forth. I didn't regret any of my professional enjoying life season, even in my 30s. And so fun would not be one that I would like, I struggle in that area. That's not one. Faith
Yeah.
will definitely not be one that I would say I struggle in either. I feel good with my relationship with God. I feel
Mhm.
good having served God's church and being a minister now for almost 30 years. And so, and it's not even about just knowing Bible, it's about being an example of the Bible, faith in action. You know what I'm saying? Trying to live the word of
Mhm.
God in my everyday life. And so faith would not be a struggle for me as well. So it would have to lean. I mean, I'm glad you actually said, because it would have been harder if you had said two, because these
Yeah.
two here, I could say with confidence, I've had fun along the way. And I've
Yeah.
had in the last 30 years, I feel confident to say I had God along the way, and especially in the
Yeah.
last 30 years. However, when it comes to finances, I'm not where I should be. And I made a goal that in 2024, a lot of people are going to hear me talk a lot about money, because Anastasia, you and I were from the same family. But one of the things I found that I don't like is that we very seldomly meet family members, we very seldomly meet friends who say, let's go have lunch and let's talk about how to make a million. How to make $1 million this year. Hey, listen, let's make sure that, hey, let's put a strategy together where we pull together a couple of businesses and make 10 million in the next 10 years. Someone is going to make 10 million in the Bahamas. Someone is going to make $1 million a year in the Bahamas. Or here in the United States, obviously, someone is making $1 million every day. But my
Yeah.
thing is, why haven't that been a subject matter for me personally? Because money hasn't been one of those introductory subjects where we should make it a priority. Yet, Anastasia, the other one, which is health, if you go to the doctor, whatever they're going to tell you that's needing to be worked on is going to cost you some money. It's going to
Right.
cost you some money. And I would say a good portion of your family issues that often show up is attached to money.
Yeah.
A big portion of the complaints are attached to money. So I would say moving forward, I'm going to master money. That's my goal. This next season of my life, I want to learn how to
Mhm.
make $1 million a year. And $1 million a year is not even a big number, but for where I came from on a station to say making $1 million a year, that's pretty. Hey, what's this? That's pretty brassy. That's pretty cocky.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But here's
Mhm.
the deal. Why? And a lot of our viewing audience are listening. Why? Because there are a lot of people, there are people who are making $1 million a day. Okay? There are people who are making $1
Mhm.
million a day, and I'm trying to make $1 million a year. And I want to learn how to make that a norm. Okay? I want to learn how to make that a norm. The other thing is, I struggle with the work that needs to be put into my body. The Bible says your body is the vehicle the Bible says your body is the temple of the Holy Spirit. You got to keep it clean
Yeah.
and honorable. Well, I teach that your body is the vehicle God uses to fulfill your assignment. Well,
Yeah.
my breathing is off. My adenoids are large. My tonsil is too large. So I'm now learning. So I'm having a surgery to have this taken care of. And guess what? When I showed up in the doctor office, Anastasia, you know what he says? I'll walk out of here for a minute, and someone will come in here and talk to you, and I'll come back after they talk to you. You know what that person was coming in to talk to me about? What it's going to
Finances.
cost. Hey, the doctor don't even that bill. He didn't even want to look me in the face and tell me that
Uh,
this
mhm.
that this 20-minute procedure is
Mhm.
going to cost me what people don't make in a month. Anastasia, what most people don't even make in a month. It's gonna take about 20 minutes,
Right.
and the charges are, so we got to talk about that money. And then last but not least, family. I'm doing better in that area, but I'm talking about my house, my son, my daughter, my wife, making sure that we're in a good place. You sort of knew I had to
Mhm.
start again. I had to start over. I got punched in the face with a blindsided divorce that I had to accept that was my reality. But I'm not out of the game because I went through a divorce. It was just a bump in the road, right? It was a
Right.
bump in the road. So I heard your dog. We got a dog now too, honestly. So your dog is trying to be.
It's not even mine. It's the neighbors. Nala already. She's sitting right here. She already knows. Listen, when Mama is on, leave
Yeah.
Mama alone. Just sit here. Ah, see,
See
see.
the
There's the paw.
the neighbor, yeah, the neighbor dogs hadn't gotten it yet. So
No.
Anastasia, so the the
Yeah.
whole the whole element of family is going to be one that I'm going to keep a priority, and I don't want to lose when it comes to family. I want to make sure I want to win. I teach effective living is having all five. And I'm talking about having all five in a really good position. I'm talking about where all five are doing well. And so I would say Anastasia would have been health, it would have been finances, and it would have been family. That would have been the most bumps in the road, the little struggle. Even now, RJ is 21, he's at college. You got young adult kids. They ain't easy. You know what I mean. Sometimes they navigate their lives in directions that you're not necessarily inclined to want. And I'm like, you know what, son, you're growing up. I love you. I've taken you as far as I could. I will always be here for you. But at the end of the day, I'm not gonna go ahead and lose sleep because of your decisions. Your decisions are yours. You know, and so, but I love my son, I love my our daughter, I love my family and my extended family. All of my family I love, but at the end of the day, I'm still trying to learn how to do better with family.
I think that we all have those areas that plague us a little bit, that we have to put a little extra effort in order to make it balance out, to make that pizza whole and
Yeah,
even. It
yeah.
takes just so much more effort on one slice of that than a few of the others sometimes. I will not get into which slices I am working on. I am just thankful for the answer that you gave on your three slices. That was great. Thank you so much.
Hmm.
So, my next question is, um, on a scale of 1 to 10, with 10 being contentment, how close are you to your 10?
Man, how close am I? I'm like at a seven.
Okay,
I'm like at a seven. I really and with this is what all five. This
right.
is with all five. I feel faith, family, finance, fitness, and fun. When it comes to where am I in relation to those five, I feel as
Yes.
though I'm at a seven. And here's what I believe. I believe that it's important that people assess where they are and do the work to come up the scale. If you're a one, two, three, four, or five, I mean, you just got to tell yourself, this is where I am today, but I don't have to stay there. So I created this space, Anastasia, to help people to think about those numbers you just mentioned. I didn't know you were going to ask that question, but I know this. We all are at a certain number. And I feel as though I'm almost a seven across the board. Because the interesting thing when I teach about the five, faith, family, finance, fitness, and fun, Anastasia, sometimes people will be a seven in one area and a two in another area, right?
Hmm.
The interesting thing, man, is I didn't even want to be considered like a religious junkie, like just all
Hmm.
religious talk. And they were like, whoa, I'm a 10 on the faith window. But then at the same time, at the family side of things, I'm like at a two, you know?
Hmm.
And so I'm not pushing that. And then I like working out and I like taking care of my body, but I can't say I'm a 10 in my body because I still know that I'm far off from where I should be with my body. But I realize I'm making progress. And so I think I'm at a seven. Now here's the deal. Watch this. Watch this, Anastasia. I feel as though I will be for me, and you talk about contentment. The key word is contentment for Ricardo Miller. So don't judge me,
Right.
people. You know, somebody's like, I think you're a little higher than that, or I think you're a little lower than that. Get out of my face, okay, people? Whoever is trying to say that, leave me alone. She asked me the question, where am I? And so my contentment window, Anastasia, let me tell you, I will feel like when it comes to fitness, my goal is by 50 to have a six pack. Okay. Now that means by
Okay.
50, when I do my Baywatch male picture, like come on, walking the beach from in October, and I take my Baywatch man pictures, and I'm gonna do the no shirt, and it'll be my full six pack, rip, ra, ta, 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 right? And
Mhm.
so there you go, there you go, total six
Yeah.
pack. That's to me, that's a 10. When you're 50 years old and you got a six pack, that's a 10 for me. That's contentment. The other one is finances. I would like 2024 to be $1 million a year. But
Yeah.
moving forward, I would like to tap into $1 million a year lifestyle of income and management of money through my company, Effective Living LLC. So financially, I would like to be where I like my business is making a minimum, a base of $1 million a year. I feel like I will be
Right.
able to say from a contentment window again. Somebody said, you should be at
Yeah.
10 million. Get yourself out of my business. I am telling you contentment for me. Okay. $1 million
Right.
a year income would be fine for me at this stage. Now at 55, I
Mm.
might change. But for right now, I'm looking at this $1 million a year idea. The other thing is when it comes to family, my wife and I, we made a commitment. We want a family vacation. Our goal is to live and love loud and clear and transparent and honest and practical. And there is no elephant in the closet. There's no elephant in the room. There's no skeleton in the closet. We are free and we are whole and we are even with my son, daughter, with my mom, my sisters, with my cousins. I'm like, it is what it is. I love you with the love of Christ. I ain't got no vibes. I ain't know nobody nothing. I love everybody. I do what I can. I say when I can't,
Mm.
and I do life well with family. And then when it comes to faith, my goal is to a number of things. I want to practice more on faith. I want to read the Bible through every year. I want to make that a commitment. I used to do that a lot early on. I feel as though I backed off from that a little bit. I want to read the Bible through every year. I want to
Right.
practice. I want to practice praying for somebody
Right.
in person. Like now, I'm talking about Anastasia. I'm praying for you. I'm talking about one of my goals from a faith standpoint, praying for somebody on an airplane, praying for somebody at the airport, praying for somebody at a mall. You catch what I'm saying? Like real Christian engagement to cover somebody. So I want to pray and I want to introduce people to Christ in person, not virtually, not through my books, not through on the stage of a conference, but I'm talking one on one. That's my faith connection to living my walk out with God. Because you could be saved for a long time and not introduce someone to Christ,
Yeah.
not pray for someone in
Yeah.
person. You understand what I'm saying? and
Yeah.
and you love the Lord and you do it through the form of the congregational experience or the
Mhm.
community outreach experience. I don't want to talk about this in the community outreach experience. I want to talk about this just as the male man, father, husband, and friend. When I'm doing life and an opportunity come to minister to somebody, I want to remind myself as a believer, a Christ follower, I should extend the reach of praying for people. Every day I want to do that. That's a goal. And then the other one is fun. Anastasia, I told them if there's a dance floor, I'm gonna be on it. Okay. I told them, listen, if it's a party, I'm gonna be at the loudest table. Okay. If
Yeah.
it's a comedy club, I'm gonna be laughing. If it's something to laugh at, I'm gonna laugh. If it's some place I can dance at, I'm gonna dance. If it's someplace where rejoicing and engaging is happening, that's the fun side
Yeah.
of things. I want to try new things and I want to have fully lived. And so, faith, family, finance, fitness, and fun, all of it, I'm in
Yeah.
pursuit.
Okay.
You,
Well, believe it or
you,
not,
hey, you can see I've been thinking about this, right? Like literally, this whole trying to
yes,
live.
yes, this has definitely been a thought process for you. Even without knowing what the questions were, you're definitely ready.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
my next question was going to be, well, I guess it still somewhat is. Um, is there a is there such a thing as enough? Is there a goalpost or a measure that determines if you're living effective enough? So for you personally, you gave yours just now, which would be your measure of the 10 on the scale.
Yep.
And so I guess for the rest of us, is
Yep.
there a measure? Is there a goalpost that we should be trying to hit? What does it look like when we are at least at enough?
That's such a great question because somebody asked me a few years ago, Ricardo, how much is enough? Claiming that I had acquired a lot in their eyes, and they thought my hustle
Mhm.
was a little bit too much. I almost wanted to punch him in the face, Anastasia, right? But I'm not on Soldier Road no more. I had to remind myself I can't
Right.
be punching people in the face, and I'm a minister, so
Yeah.
that don't even sound good, right? But how much is enough? What I had to conclude was, and still is, you have to know your potential. I think enough is based on the potential that is within. Anastasia, one person enough is $100,000 a year for the rest of their life, and
Mhm.
they're okay. For me, I'm saying for in
Yeah.
this season, at this point, I'm saying $1 million a year for me looks phenomenal. I'm not saying that's enough eternally or for the long run. Right now, I'm at that point where I would like to feel, see, and experience $1 million a year. And then there are other people who want $1 million a month. And there are other people who want
Mhm.
$1 million a week. And there are people who want $1 million
Right.
days. And I believe all of that is in proportion to potential. You got people on a station who can teach a class of 25 kids and that's it. But then there are people who
Yeah.
move beyond that class to leading and influencing the department that actually gives them the rights to manage 200 kids. Then there are others who go ahead and manage an entire campus, can move from 200 kids to 500 kids. And then there are those who go district wise where they're doing multiple campuses. I think that's where we should be governing our performance. If people ask you how much is enough, it's when I figured out the statement is true for me, and that is, it is finished because I have no more to give. I'm done. I've gone as far as I can go. And the truth is, some people, 10 is enough. Some people, the Bible talks about leaders of 10, leaders of 50s, leaders of hundreds, and leaders of thousands. That's why we shouldn't envy anybody. Tyler Perry could become a billionaire, but there are a lot of people who have no desire to be a billionaire. But there are people who have billionaire potential, right? There are people who have billionaire potential. And if you have billionaire potential, I believe you should honor God in being a billionaire. If you have $1 million potential, you should honor God in being a millionaire, maximizing the potential for which you've been given. And then there are some people who say, I don't even aim to try to have no $1 million a year. That's okay if contentment is the basis for how you're functioning. And that's the goal. Nothing missing, lacking, or broken. Total peace. Our grandmother Anastasia used to say, may the peace of God that passeth all understanding rest and abide with you now and forevermore. That's Bible. But in truth, when you are living at peace with yourself and where you are, with faith, family, finance, fitness, and fun. Somebody said, I never have to go on a dance and I'm as contented and happy and fulfilled. Another person says, I won't see a dance floor and not get on it. Do you see what I'm saying? I think nobody should allow anybody to determine how much they give to humanity. I think your potential should determine what you give to humanity. And then what you're at peace at. And let me tell you what's the trick, the kicker here, Anastasia. You know when people are lying to themselves, when you say you're content, but you're envious and still can't sleep well at seeing other people do what you know you could do, but you haven't chosen to go to. So in other words, somebody said, well, you know what? I'm content with this office. And then they go to somebody and they see somebody with their full office building. And they think, boy, I should be doing so much more because, I got a better degree than they do. As shoots, they're not even as smart as me. And how in the world I was ahead of them in class. And And see, you're talking from what your potential says. Your potential says you should have been. But what you've done is you've chosen to check out and settle. And then when you saw someone else pushing the envelope for being all that they can be, your potential is reminding you, you could be that too. But true contentment is being able to walk in somebody's office and say, look at you in the corner office. I'm so happy for you. And you jump in your car, drive off and say, I'm so glad for this person. Bless God. I would never want to do elevators every day. I would never want to do this every day. I would never want to do that today, but I'm so happy for them. That right there is rare. Okay? Because most people leave second guessing themselves. And a lot of times that second guessing is coming from most people haven't figured out what it is for them. Like for me, I watch a lot of people. I've been around a lot of people. I know I'm not all that I could be. And I'm reminded, Ricardo, be all that you could be. Not in comparison to family, not in comparison to friends, not in comparison to associates, not in comparison to your neighbor. Ricardo, be all that you can be. And when I'm all that I can be, whenever someone comes to me with, Miller, how much is enough? Well, when I'm empty. At present, you can tell I still got something to give. So clearly, I'm still in the game. So
Yeah, you still got a lot going on. You still got a lot going on. We're working on this six pack by 50 and everything. So, there's still a lot to do.
yes, yes,
I especially like the portion of, it being your measure.
yeah,
Because when, like you said, it's very rare to find someone that doesn't have envy in their heart for somebody else when they start to see someone else moving and growing and all the rest of that. And so
yeah,
it is very rare to find someone that is just truly happy for you
yeah.
in no matter what it
And
is.
think
Because
that they are.
as as people who are out there a little bit,
Yep,
social by
yep,
whatever means,
yep,
um, when you tend to have people around you that may not understand how you've done what you do
yep,
and the time that it's taken, the energy that it's taken, the sleep that it has cost you, the money that it has cost you, when they're just looking at the result of what you are now, not even
yep.
knowing what you want to be. There
Correct.
is that little green that tends to pop up every once in a while. But when you can find those true people around you who are not concerned about, you know, this little thing, that little thing, those are the ones
Correct.
to hold on to.
Yes.
So we're winding down. We're not going to keep everybody this morning. We're going to make sure that they can go ahead and start their day off great. Not forgetting to put their questions in the comments. Make sure that you ask those questions. You're going to get a text message back, a response, a reply. I'm not exactly sure it's going to be a real time because we're a little bit busy right now.
Yep.
It is going to be answered. Nothing will be ignored. All of it will be considered. And so, my next question would be, how would you advise someone to, okay, hold on, let me put this little precursor first in there, right?
Uh-huh.
When I was preparing these questions, right?
Hmm.
I was thinking a lot about the five aspects, the five pieces, and everything like that. And I'm like, why doesn't this have a quiz? Like, how they have the five love languages, and
Hmm.
you can do the little quiz to be like, would you rather this or would you rather that? And at the end of it, it's like, okay, your percentage is this much of physical touch, this much of affirmation, so on and so forth. I'm like, why doesn't my cousin have a quiz set up for this thing yet? And
Correct.
I'm like, okay, this is a conversation we're going to need to have. So that's the first part of it. But the question was, how can someone monetize their strength? If it is that your strength is in either of those five aspects, how do you then turn that strength, turn that passion, turn that, experience, influence, whatever, into a monetary avenue?
So good. Such a great question. All five of the areas that I mentioned, people are making a living from. Let me say it again. All
Mhm.
five of the areas, people are making, like literally, faith, ministers,
Oh,
or itinerant
yeah,
speakers. Okay. Fitness,
yeah.
fitness coach, trainer. Okay.
Mhm.
Family, consulting, advisor, event planner for family. What's the other one? Finances, budget planner, in regards to helping people with their money management. And then the fun, you have people who are literally they're event planners, DJs. You know what I'm saying? They're MCs. I was at a reception this past weekend, and when the MC grabbed the mic, I'm like, boy, she know how to alpha, that lady. She was like, all right, y'all ready to kick this thing up? In other words, all of our gifts can be monetized. Now the challenge is your gift
Mhm.
normally is attached to your heart. Monetization is attached to your head. Okay.
Mhm.
And most people don't build monetization into their life because their heart is too attached to their gift that they don't want to think about charging people a price. But
Right.
Anastasia, if I'm into yard work. I love my yard. As a matter of fact, I'm in the yard twice a week, right? But my neighbors, if you see I was to lose my job today and didn't have money coming in with the lawnmower in the back, I would be the one cutting the 300 houses in this neighborhood yard because I'd be friendly and I will be accessible and I will promise them, listen, just as much as I cut my yard, I will cut your yard. You will always be on point if you were to have Ricardo Miller as your lawn guy. Now, here's the deal. The plus about yard work is I enjoy it to the fullest.
Mhm.
So it's a love. You see what I'm saying? Now I'm monetizing it to a degree where I'm now able to allow it to take care of me financially. You can make what
Mhm.
you enjoy doing a business. That's what I want to say to the person who's watching. Now, here's what you have to do though. And this is why a lot of people haven't done well. I mentioned it before. The thing you enjoy doing is a thing that's attached to your heart. And you can do it
Mhm.
for free. Oftentimes you do it for free. But in order for you to
Mhm.
monetize it, you have to tap into your head, which now you have to come up with a strategy, you have to come up with a price, you have to come up with the ability to be very candid in charging. That's the reason why
Mhm.
doctors who are good at being a doctor knows, hey, I'm not good to talk to this client about prices. So guess what he does? He took the head out of it when it comes to pricing and outsourced it and says, you know what? Talk to my assistant and I'll be back. So somebody who's like, hey, I like cutting grass, but yards, but I don't want to charge people. You tell them, hey, I cut the yard, but you have to call Anastasia because she's the one who deals with the books. But can you come and cut my yard? Only after Anastasia tell me. And then you're the one who looks them straight in the face and says $89 for this cut.
Yeah.
And you're like,
Yeah.
but Mr. Miller is such a nice guy. But I'm Mr. Miller. He got to pay me and he got to fix the lawnmower and he got to pay taxes. Give me the $80, please. And that's a
Yeah.
part of getting someone to do what you're not necessarily in the speaking space on a station. I know you're doing a lot of speaking now when you want to charge. And somebody actually, so are you going to charge me? You said, you know what? I don't do bookings in that regard. All I know is I'm available, and I'll get back to you, and I'll let my assistant who takes care of bookings get with you. Then you call Tina up and say, Tina, you better charge them 500.
Mhm.
You go ahead and
Mhm.
communicate with them with the price. I'll take care of the stage, and you
Yeah.
call your sister, you call a cousin, you call a friend, and let them
Yeah.
do the billing side. You catch it?
Yeah.
Because you don't know how to walk through that whole process.
Mhm.
That's why you need that whole support team around you to help you where you may not want to necessarily go into. And I'm telling you, people who have a gift that is worth paying for normally don't get paid for it because one, they don't tap into the discipline that is required and the confidence that needs to be
Mhm.
portrayed in setting a price. And they don't use the strategy of having someone assist them by being I'm the person who takes care of that. He don't talk money. because I went to two doctors' office and neither of the doctors talked to me about money.
Yeah.
You know, yeah, neither of them talk to you. And even when you go to good major law firms, you go to major law firms, not the little mom and pop ones, but major law firms, they'll tell you straight up again. You'll get to the lawyer after you deal with the assistant or the receptionist or the accounts department, which is going to deal with you with the money.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
I
So
enjoyed this.
my last question,
Uh-huh.
very last, nothing else after this, I promise,
Uh,
is what's next?
Wow.
I mean,
I have a number of things as what's next. I'm in January, I'm unveiling about 2 or 3 things that I've never done before. And I'm working on some backstage stuff on them. So the question is tricky because but know that I have a what's next. I'm a big believer. The Bible said, "Where there's no vision, the people perish." So if you don't know what's next, chances are you won't have a next. You'll fizzle off. Stacey, you've been with me for a long time. We've been doing life for a long time, and from my space of Children's Ministry in Abo, you know that I've been on my grind, on my hustle with this space, but your cousin ain't finished yet. And if God could take me into 2024 January with what I'm anticipating, my goal is to announce some really big, cool things. That's the next season of Ricardo Miller. So let me say this, what I can say in relations to what's next as well. The goal is to grow the Effective Living Cruise. I would love to come into the Bahamas with the full cruises, my people, the whole shebang. Everybody coming off that boat wearing Effective Living Ambassador shirt. That's something that's coming. I would love to host my 5K run citywide. I'm talking about streets locked down, and we're talking health, real strong dynamics. I'm looking forward to hosting annually financial management classes to get people to move from what they've been accustomed to when it comes to income and money management to going to 6 figures or 7 figures or 8 figures. Those are just 3 that I can talk about. A couple other things are on the making. I'm excited about the future.
okay, that's great. I'm excited with you. This sounds like a lot that's going on. The one
Yeah.
thing I did not hear though was the reintroduction or relaunch of the retreats that you used to have. Remember, you used to have the retreats every April?
Uh-huh.
I would,
Wow,
I would love to be able to do those again.
it's interesting that you said that. We just finished doing a retreat this past weekend, and I kept referring to everybody about the fact that we had a retreat here, and that definitely could be something that's in the making again. Thank you for remembering that. That was definitely awesome, and like I said, we've done some things over the years, and just never know. The retreat may be coming back.
Love that, love that. Well, that's it for me and my questions. It has been such a great talk and such a great time.
Thank you so much, Anastasia. Ladies and gentlemen, this morning we just wanted to bring about some answers to life. And Anastasia asked me the question, but if you were asked the same question, did you have answers for yourself as to where you are and where you're going? Let me tell you something. You got to learn to ask the right questions, and don't so much the questions about others. Learn to ask the questions about yourself. Effective living at its best is life management. Management at its best is asking the right questions, not being afraid of the answers that comes from the questions, and then doing the work to have the manifestation or reflection of what you dream being your reality. So if you don't like where you are, make some adjustments by asking the questions and then do the work that's necessary for you to get to where you're trying to go. Anastasia, have a great day. I know you're an educator, school day. And so thank you so much for popping on this morning and being a part of all things effective living. You're awesome. Love and appreciate you, cuz.
Yeah, same here, same here. You know, it's all love, my adopted brother.
Come on. Wow. God bless you.
All